world that nature has to offer in one lifetime. What a dream! To travel freely into the home of the wild ones, to live with them, to become so accepted by them that they hardly notice that you're there. That is not only my dream, that's my goal. I'm wildlife photographer Bill Porter, and I'll take you there.
I walked on the mountain and down by the sea. There I saw men who shared this world with me. We shared this world with wild ones, that's the way it's meant to be. We're also meant to save them, that's the power in you and me. I wandered down the valley, crossed to the other shore. There's wildlife all around us, birds and bees and so much more. We're always going to take some, that's the way it's meant to be. We're also meant to save them, that's the power in you and me. Well, I woke up to the sunrise, stood there at sunset too. Still I saw the wild ones, wish you had been there too. For with one touch of nature, the whole world had become kin. This message all around us, that's the way it's always been.
Wildlife Unlimited Foundation, thanking you for doing your part to keep our wildlife unlimited. I'm wildlife photographer Bill Porter, and I'll take you there. Sometimes they're cute. Sometimes they're beautiful. Other times they're simply amazing. But it's always exciting in the wonderful world of the wild ones. Major funding for the making of this program was provided by the Wisconsin chapters of the Whitetails Unlimited, who also supplied much-needed funds for research. The white-tailed deer is extremely adaptable. As habitat changes, the white-tailed deer adapts to its new surroundings. Consequently, the white-tailed deer has never had a problem with extinction. On the other hand, they have become too numerous for the habitat in many areas. Probably more is known about the white-tailed deer than any other animal. Too much to share at one time. This, then, is the setting, an introduction to the life of the white-tailed deer.
On land and underwater, sportsman and photographer Bill Porter with son John and family invite you all to join them at a spot in the country where we hope to see some wildlife still run free. We'll go hunting, climbing, fishing, diving, see things that help to set the spirit free. We might take some of the surplus that the good Lord has provided, always mindful of the sportsman's creed. So the wildlife we all love remains unlimited. Oh, Bill and Rose and little John, who's grown to be a man, will show you through a camera's eye wonders of the land. You might camp with them by mountain streams or run barefoot in the sand. But wherever you go, recall the creed, keep the wildlife unlimited.
The Wildlife Unlimited Foundation presents the white-tailed deer. Daily pattern of the whitetail, in a simple form, shows that they leave the woods to graze in the fields just before sunrise, then resting in the woods during the day, and again move into the fields just before sunset. Most of the activity of the whitetail in the fall is centered around the rut, breeding season. The bucks have a scent gland in the center of their forehead and rub this on branches to mark their area. Bucks rub their antlers on trees and brush to clean the velvet off. Rubs on trees then become markings of the buck's area as he leaves his scent from the gland on his forehead on some of the branches. Bucks are the males and does are females. The bucks then scrape the ground with their hooves. The scrape then, as this is called, is marked by the hunching up of the buck and letting the urine run down over the glands on the inside of his knees, this giving the scrape his distinct odor. It is also known that the bucks have scent glands between their split hooves and also on their ankles. And although the does do scrape, generally it's only in a small area and she stays close by. The buck does not defend a territory as such, but will compete for females in the area. The rut begins in late August or September, peaking in late November, then trails off into December. Notice the use of the gland on his forehead, as well as the mouthing of the area. It is believed the mouthing, dampening of the area, adheres the scent better. Watch this seldom seen display. Majestic, just the sight of his silhouette in early morning or late evening sparks the feeling of strength and pride in all of us. But then winter really sets in, the hardest time for all whitetails. They gather together on traditional yarding areas. Although some yards are quite big, it's the trails that are kept packed down. And some are well known and used year after year. Deer's body functions all slow down to what some call a standing semi-hibernation. Food is the major factor here, and although this part of a deer's life needs more explanation, we will cover the winter activities more thoroughly in another presentation. The bucks lose their antlers each winter. The timing of this is directly related to the food supply. The better the food, the longer the antlers stay on. Antlers are seldom found because they become a source of food for smaller mammals. The whitetail will forage on ground materials as long as it can, usually until the snows are about chest high. Although starvation happens all winter during severe conditions, it must be noted that as a direct result of body functioning returning to normal and a great deal of activity in early spring, many deer starve at this time before favorable food supplies return. New antlers covered with velvet. This time has a splendor all of its own. But most important is renewed life, a new beginning. Movements become more urgent. Instinctively, she knows. Now is the time. She needs help. The weight of the baby, plus her movements, accelerate the process. And now to clean her new baby. Later in the day, another newborn, less than 10 minutes old, tries his new legs. Instinctively, he knows he can do it. Although some whitetails deliver only one, twins are normal and commonplace. The afterbirth and all excess blood is cleaned up immediately by the mother. Scents given off by these would help predators to find her young. His second time should be easier. As I said, twins are common, and triplets, although not as common as twins, are found quite often. Keeping clean during the birthing process is of great concern to the doe, as the females are called, and she busies herself from start to finish and beyond with that task. Here, one of the first two born is eating milk supplied by its mother as she attempts to deliver the third one. While one fawn struggles to get it to its feet, the doe labors with the third. It's not going to be easy to be the third of triplets. Food must be plentiful for the mother so she can produce the extra milk needed for her large family. The young fawns are unable to defecate unless stimulated by the mother for the first few days. This again may be a factor in predation. Generally, bucks form small groups of their own and are seldom seen close to does with fawns this early in the year. A buck, probably not even the father, shows only passing curiosity. As in the life of the whitetail, the buck plays no role in the raising of the young. It's left entirely up to the does. The cleaning process goes on. And within only an hour or so, exploration begins. Instinctively, the young can hide and lay motionless until their mother comes back or calls. Yes, she gives a certain sound to call them. Nature also has given them very little scent to help prevent them from detection. Although the mother gives great care to her young, she will not jeopardize herself to save her young. Survival of the species versus survival of the individual. Summertime, and the living is easy, and plenty of time to grow with the abundant food supply. A time to learn from mother. And a time to explore new surroundings, to cross old tote roads, for example. But one must keep up to mother, as this world is strange and could be dangerous. By late summer, around Labor Day, the buck's antlers are fully grown and in full velvet. The bucks are fat, well fed, and prepared for the rut, the breeding season soon to come. For eating becomes unimportant, and the bucks lose a great deal of weight during the rut. The velvet shows the first signs of loosening by the base of the antlers. A honey-colored substance oozes out first, usually mixed with some blood. That night, activity continues as usual. The next morning, small areas of antler show signs of peeling. Using the gland in the center of his forehead, He begins to mark his territory. Licking helps smear the scent. Also, the scent adheres better to the wet surface. Usually the buck picks a low-hanging branch, about eye level. Now this is the beginning of his territory. Marking the area is thought to be a sign to others. The scent, thought to be unique to the individual, would then let others know just which buck is in the area. Again, much is known about the rut, and we will cover this in more detail in another presentation. After marking the trees and bushes, the buck will usually lay down. The stimulus will get stronger, strong enough to stimulate the rubbing of the horns. The buck usually walks up very nonchalant, again smelling the tree. Suddenly the urge is there, and with a great deal of effort and power, the buck begins rubbing his antlers. This buck took only 4 minutes to remove most of the velvet from his antlers. After removing most of the velvet from their antlers, the buck will lay down and use his hind hoof to remove more of the velvet from close to his head. Then licks the velvet from his hoofs. So begins the rut, with all of its fighting and jousting. But that is a story all of its own. This story looks like it's about a lucky hunter, but it's not. It's a story of a successful land management program, a fairy tale come true, a place where landowners and hunters, DNR and ecologists got together and proved that good land management works. It improved the quality of life for the deer, and as a byproduct, these trophy deer for hunters, as laws permitted bucks only. In areas like this where timber was harvested 40 years ago, deer ate everything to a brow line too high to reach. 3 years ago, this area was logged. 7 years ago, this area was logged. Note that the young trees are growing rapidly. Now, under the guidance of ecologist Dr. Ray Anderson, on an island, such as Chambers Island here off of Door County, where it's easier to control, they proved it will work. Now maybe this can become a model for other areas. You have heard about the importance of research, but don't know what you can do. Let me encourage you to contact someone in your area about the wildlife you're most interested in. Your local library has a warehouse of information, but if you still need more help in getting started, or if you'd like to see a show about your special interest, write me at the Wildlife Unlimited Foundation, Box 312, Vesper, Wisconsin. In the meantime, I'm asking you to help me keep the wildlife unlimited. I'd like to give a special thanks to Dr. Ray Anderson, University of Wisconsin.
For a sportsman's more than just a hunter or a fisherman. There's things to see to all the mind of many a mortal man. From the way the wild protect their young to canyons carved in sand. Oh, don't take them all as you recall. We're for Wildlife Unlimited. Yes, Bill and Rose and Little John, who's grown to be a man, will show you through a camera's eye wonders of the land. You might camp with them by mountain streams or run barefoot in the sand. But where'er you go, recall the creed, keep the wildlife unlimited.